Hello, good afternoon. Hello, neighbors. I believe it's about 3 months since I've done my last video, so I figured I'd give everybody an update. Hope everyone's doing well as could be. Today's May 22nd, 88-degree hot May day today. So we're sitting here in a newly done conference room. Before we get going, let me just make a couple of comments. First of all, regarding COVID, let me just bring that up, as I'm sure you all know now that we've dropped the mandates for masks in the elevators. The Tot room is open, the game room is open, the Sky room is open. We've opened everything up. I've always been into this better safe than sorry, but after 2+ years, it's time to try to do the best we can at this point. If you feel that you're more comfortable in a mask, of course, I recommend that. I do want to mention a few things COVID related before we move on. This doesn't mean, God forbid, if things really start getting real bad again, that we won't implement mandates again, but we're trying not to, okay? I want to thank the management for a great job on many levels, COVID related, renovation related, and just overall. The building looks great, and of course I always want to thank people that are responsible for this. Thank you, Chris Murphy. Thank you, Tony Russo. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Antonella. Thank you, Stella. I think some of the people that work here, like Bobby Perez, who's been here 40+ years, should be thanked. People like Henry. Thank you, Henry. Ralph, for example, the doorman that had COVID and said to Chris, I have COVID. I have no symptoms. Can I please come back to work? He was begging to come back to work, and he felt fine, but he couldn't come back to work till he got cleared from a doctor. Jose Loiza, these are some of the special people that work here that I want to mention. And of course, Walter does a great job, and we're very happy with some of the others. I want to bring up Mario. A lot of people misunderstand Mario, and I'm not sticking up for him. He's a high-strung guy that has a lot of pressure in the back. There's contractors, there's food deliveries, there's Amazon coming here every 15 minutes, there's FedEx. So it's a very stressful job. So for whatever, I have to mention Mario. He's been here a very long time. So if I'm missing anybody, I want to thank everybody. Thank you for a great job. Regarding COVID related, I want to say also go on record that thank you to the residents. Thank you to 99.9% of all the residents that wore masks in the elevator every day. Unfortunately, we had one person that refused to wear a mask almost never. Okay, we had one or two other people that we had a lot of problems with masking. So I'm sorry to report that, but 3 people out of several thousand people, I think that's tremendous. Okay, so thank you, residents. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll just learn to live with this and do the best we can. All right, moving on here. We'll get this done as quick as we can so everybody can get the information. Our renovation is complete at this point. When I say at this point, we're doing a punch list now. We're doing a punch list of any items that we think still have to be fixed or tweaked a little bit. But overall, the conference room where I'm sitting right now is completely redone. We have new carpeting, we have new table, we have new lighting, new ceiling, etc. The community room, all the furniture has been in for a while, but because of COVID and some other reasons, we haven't set the furniture up. We hope to do that in the next few days. So that'll be completed. The lobby, we're going to tweak a little bit going forward also. We're going to put a few items in there. So overall, the renovation's done. The overwhelming majority of people that I speak to like the renovation that we did. There's a few people that don't like this or don't like that, but that's to be expected. And of course, there's a few people that don't like it. But overall, like I said, very good feedback. We came in, I'm doing this from memory, close to $700,000 under budget. I think I mentioned last time about 500. It wound up being about 700,000. So congratulations to everybody involved with that as well. Going a little bit further here, I'm going to look at some of the notes. I have notes here. The pool passes, we opened yesterday on Saturday to give pool passes out. We'll continue to do that this week as well. The pool will open next Saturday. So, and there's 2 guests allowed. We used to have 4, but if you want to get technical, last year we had no guests were involved, so we're allowing 2 guests this year. And, we're sorry to cut it down, but we're still trying to be a little COVID conscious and keep things as under control as possible, okay? Getting to a subject that I'm sure a lot of you are anxious to hear, The fitness center is progressing very nicely. The rooms have been demolished, okay, let's put it that way. They're putting in new ceiling as we speak. They're putting in new electricity, running new electrical, let's put it that way, not new electricity. We're putting a split system in there. We'll have additional heating and air conditioning. We've decided that where I'm sitting right now behind me, we're cutting down the conference room. We're going to add, we just decided recently to add a men's room and a ladies' room, just specifically dedicated to the fitness center, so people won't be using the the bathrooms in the hallway. That'll be more for guests that visit the building and things like that. So we're working on that. We anticipated to be open around July 1st. Now we're kind of anticipating more the middle of July because of these bathrooms that we're adding and some of the materials. We're going first class with everything. Give you an example. I don't know if I've done this before. You could have 7 treadmills, 3 ellipticals, I think it's 3 bicycles, a rowing machine, all kinds of weights, stretching areas. It should be quite beautiful, okay, considering the space that we're dealing with. We have about 1,500 square feet of space, which is pretty nice. And again, I mentioned it before. Let's not judge the crowd from the first couple of weeks. Let's see how we are 3 months from now, and if we need that, we need to expand. We will expand. And once again, I know I'm repeating myself. Do not expect us to be like the Palace Stadium. We don't have the space, and obviously we don't have the pool, or we don't have this. We don't have a lot of some of the things they were giving us, but we shall see what happens in the future. Regarding the Palace Stadium, to give you a little update there, we're anticipating going to a mediation sometime in the middle of June to start mediating a financial settlement and some other things regarding the Palace Stadium. Excuse me. I'd rather not go into all the legal details because I think that's counterproductive to go into the legal details on a video like this, but I will say we'll do the best we can for the building, which we've done. I look back now, 2+ years ago, we had people, begging me, not to get involved and begging the building not to do this. We knew 2 years ago this Palace Stadium was never going to reopen. It was as simple as that. Some people, for whatever reason, didn't want to believe that or wanted us to force the Palace Stadium to reopen. You can't force people to reopen, okay? So we're going to do the best we can for the residents, and I hope, I hope the new fitness center that we put in is satisfactory to everybody. I think it's going to be real nice. Okay, that takes care of that one. Next projects, okay? There's always projects here. Just giving people an idea of where we go from here. And I can tell you this much, I'll be on the board 13 years. I think October will be, I'll be on the board 13 years at that point. And this has been a real marathon. I've said this before. This is going, we've gone from elevators to, I think we started with the lobbies, then we did waterproof the building, then we went to elevators, then we went to P-Tax. I can go on and on and on. Now, our next projects now are going to be some, again, very expensive and big projects. We have to do the flashing, which is the tips of your terraces, okay? If you look, everybody has like a metal strip on the tip of your terrace. I'll give you a little history on that. About 40 some odd years ago, when the building was about 5 years old, there was an engineer that lived in the building, and he recommended to the board at that time that we should put those metal flashing strips on the edge of the terraces to preserve the terraces. Unfortunately, it did exactly the opposite, okay? What happened was, by putting that flashing on the end of your terraces, when it rained, the water would get trapped in there and would start eroding the cement underneath it. So, to make a long story short, we're going to have to start ripping all the flashing off the building down the road, and we're going to probably, the way we see it now, do 1 wing per year, because that's a very extensive job and a very expensive job. And one of the parts about the job that's very concerning is that we don't know how much it's really going to cost. We're still working on that. We have an engineer right now, as we speak, doing drawings for this. And what happens is, when you pull the flashing off the edge of your terrace, nobody knows how much cement is going to come with it. Some of it may be very little, some of it may be a lot. So you're paying per linear foot for the cement when you redo it. So we have no idea how many feet we're going to need. So that's one of our projects, okay? So it's unfortunate, but this is what happens. The best time to be on the board of directors, believe it or not, is probably the first 10, 15 years the building was built. This way everything was new, nothing had to be replaced, and you just made rules, regulations, and tweaked some things. Now, we just continuously rebuild the building, okay? The other thing that's just about shot now is our rooftop units, our HVACs, the air conditioning, and the heating for our hallways. That's about, I'm going to say about 4 or 5 years overdue, okay? We've been babying it, we've been tweaking it, repairing it, etc., and maintaining them. So it's getting to the point now where they're almost impossible to maintain. That's another one where I don't know if anybody was living here or realized that 200 did that a few years ago. You actually need helicopters to take the units off the roof and have helicopters put the new units on the roof, and of course have a extensive hookup system. It's not like you're just plugging something in. We already got a quote. The helicopters alone, I think the quote was $100,000 just to take the units off and put them on the roof. So we're working on a quote for that, and we're hoping to do that, before next summer. That's another one. You're looking at $1.5 million plus for that. So fortunately, again, I'm not going to go into exact monies here. You could listen to our meeting on Tuesday when we have a Zoom meeting with the unit owners. Financially, we still have a nice reserve in the building, and if this is done all intelligently, I don't see any assessments coming down. Okay, I think we could kind of control this if it's done properly, like we've done everything else over the last X amount of years. So hang in there. Those are two major projects that we have coming up down the road. We plan on the service road. We've had a lot of complaints about people speeding down the service road. The gate's been hit like 50,000 times already. It's unbelievable. So we're going to go ahead at some point in the near future. We're going to put some speed bumps in the service road, and we're also going to probably recoat the service road as well to keep it up, make it keep it looking real good like it has been the last few years. So the gate will be a thing of the past in the near future. So we're doing that due to speeding and due to people using that road as a road instead of stopping at the light. We just sent out an email recently for floor delegates. That's another interesting thing. That's something that I moved here, believe it or not, I moved here in 1979. There were floor delegates at that point. And the floor delegate's job, and we have still many floors that people haven't volunteered for, is to see if the doors, doors need to be painted, if the carpeting is ripped, if there's any ripped wallpaper, if the laundry room's clean, if anybody's throwing garbage in the garbage room. There'll be a list, and we'll deal with the volunteers, and we'll give them a list of things that we're looking for. But it's really eyes and ears for more eyes and ears above and beyond management, maintenance, and porters and security. And I had somebody that came to the management office upset about that, saying that's not fair. What are you looking for floor delegates for? That's management's job. It's just a voluntary job, just to keep a brand new multi-million-dollar renovation, up. Okay, keep it up to snuff where it is right now. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with having additional eyes and ears and things like that on the floor. So I think it's a great move, and I think it's good for all the residents here. So we look forward to that. So if anybody else wants to volunteer, we still have, I think, about half the building we still need volunteers for. Okay. Want to mention the stop sign coming into the garage. You'll see a sign going up in the near future. If you do not stop at the stop sign, the garage door will not open. We have people that come, and don't get me wrong, there are certain tags that, for whatever reason, we're investigating it now, that aren't working on the garage. But, for example, my tag, I've never had a problem, okay, to be honest, since day one. I think everybody on the board of directors, I don't think anybody's had problems on the board. But there's been some people, there's been a handful of people who have had problems. We're working on correcting that, but we do go, Chris goes to the camera to see what happens when the people pull up, and a lot of people are pulling up to the garage door, and they're wondering why it doesn't open. It won't open if you go to the garage door. It only opens if you stop at the stop sign. That's the way it works. So please stop at the stop sign in the future. Thank you very much for that. Okay, the tennis courts. I'm sure some of you tennis players are a little concerned. There's a couple of ripped areas out there. That was addressed, I think it was on Friday, okay? We had the company over here that met with Chris regarding the courts, and we do have a warranty on that. and they're going to honor their warranty. They're going to come out and make any repairs that are necessary in the tennis court. I mentioned it in the past that you could look it up on the videos. I told you it's very complicated doing the tennis court on top of a garage. Okay, it doesn't hold up the way it was. We were actually it was recommended that we put these pieces on the court. I don't know, it's kind of like some type of grate instead of a cement surface, and that would have eliminated any ripping, etc., like that. But we just didn't feel. Some of the tennis players were anti-grates. They wanted the true bounce, even though today they make it what they consider a true bounce. We didn't want to go that way. We wanted it to be traditional. So the bottom line is, anybody concerned about the rips or some of the bubbles out there, they're going to be repaired. So just want to answer that before you had any comments regarding that. We are going to institute pickleball on the all-purpose court. It's an oversized, it's way over the dimensions that are necessary, by the way. There's pickleball rackets will be with the front doorman. You'll have to give him your ID card. He will give you the rackets. When you return the rackets, they'll give you your ID card back. The course will be open starting on June 1st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day. The reason we're doing that is I've noticed, and believe it or not, I happen to live on the North Promenade. I can see the tennis courts and all-purpose court. Most of the basketball players and most of the kids that play in the court really do start about 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. So it's going to accommodate everybody. The pickleball players will have the court, and the basketball players will have from 4 o'clock on to play basketball. So I hope that, we'll see how it works out. We could always make adjustments. Also, security will put the net out there, and hopefully everything will be fine. So that's something new that's coming here, and I hope everybody enjoys it, okay? Some good news, okay, we hope, all right? On June 4th, we're going to have our first bagel brunch in a couple of years. And I use the word "I hope" for two reasons. Reason number one is we have a deal with Maria's Bagels that if we see a bad weather forecast, I think it's Tuesday before the bagel brunch. We're having it on Saturday, by the way. It's June 4th. We can cancel it, okay? Because normally what we do, if it rains Saturday or Sunday, we go into the community room, and I'm really trying to avoid that. The community room is brand new, and would really be ashamed to have to do that at this particular point. But let's see what happens with that. We're pretty excited. That's the first thing we've done in several years. To some of the people that used to love our barbecues, I just have very sad news. The sad news is that that company is no longer in business. We were considering even having a barbecue again. Many people love the fried chicken and everything that was served, but again, they're out of business. So we will start to research other companies that could possibly do something like that as well, okay? Okay, the budget. The budget's coming up the end of July. I don't know if I'll be doing another video before then. I'm sure I probably won't. But anyway, the budget, there will be a maintenance increase this year. Needless to say, everybody's aware that there's an 8.5% cost of living increase going on, okay? And we've been able to keep we haven't had a budget increase. It'll be almost 17 years. So like I've said before, all the employees get raises every year. Their health insurance goes up every year. The electricity in the building, for example, which I'm very proud of, okay, and the board should be proud of, that 5 years ago we locked a rate in with an outsourcing company. Over these years, we've been paying almost half of whatever our electric bill would have been if we didn't make that deal, okay? And I'm sure some of you may have seen that, for example, in New York City, they expect the electric bills to go up 12% this summer. I didn't see what they said in New Jersey, but our bill isn't going to go up. Our deal is still locked in for about another 18 months. So that was a good deal we made. We also went complete LED in this building a few years ago, which saved us a lot of money as well. So we'll continue to do the best we can. There's going to be a small budget increase. We'll keep it to as low as we possibly can. And, there's nothing we could do with that. I want to mention another thing. I'll give you an example. I really urge them, okay, to leave emergency keys with the building. I'll give an example. Yesterday there was an interesting example, okay. Somebody went on their terrace, and to make a long story short, something happened with their door. They got locked out on their terrace. Fortunately, they had a cell phone with them, and fortunately, they called the building, and Tony Russo went up and opened the door with the emergency key and got the terrace door open. So that's just one example. That's a bizarre. There was examples of water problems, fire problems. There was somebody the other day that had their smoke detector was beeping like crazy. They weren't home. The battery must have ran. I don't know the exact details, but it was driving the neighbors crazy. And because we had an emergency key, we were able to go in and remove the battery. Okay, so please, if you don't feel comfortable leaving your emergency key with the building, and I will say this to you, there's only 2 people have access to that key: Chris Murphy and Tony Russo. It's locked up in a safe. Okay, the key is put in the box that you have to break the box to get the key out. So we have a very secure system. And I'm sure most people will agree with me, to our knowledge, it's the key. No one's ever gotten anybody's key in this building, okay, that I've ever heard of, ever, okay? So I urge you, if you feel uncomfortable putting a key in the office, at least give your key to a neighbor and let the office, somebody else has your key, so if there's an emergency. So that takes care of most of the stuff today. I'm trying to keep down my speech as long as possible. I will say before I go that, living here as long as I have and being on the board as long as I have, that when you hear about people that passed away over the last few months, I express my condolences to people here. You hear stories, it makes me feel very, very sad, because when you're living here this long and you know some of these people, it really feels like you lost a family member or friend. I feel very bad, and my sincere condolences. And my sincere thoughts are with some of the people that are ill in the building that I've heard about. We're praying for you. We're wishing, for recovery. We're wishing for you to be as healthy as possible. We really do. So thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure, and things are looking real good in Winston Towers. Have a great summer. And again, like I've always said at the end of everyone, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call me. Get in touch with me, write any board members, and contact management. Thank you very much. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you.